Action. Yeah, the last video we watched on this episode where Pastor Wisdom Ezekiel was discussing about how to build wealth, and he said that wealth is spiritual. You know, I was asking a question. I said, do you want to be wealthy? And I know that a lot of us answered yes, even though I have not seen the answers, but I believe it's a yes. So this time around, we want to continue running the same episode where he's talking about how you can become wealthy. Now, Pastor Wisdom Ezekiel is someone that, when we talk about grace, the carrier of the grace of making wealth and also building people. These are people that is someone that I know that himself and his partner, they have built a lot of us, including myself, talking to you this day in terms of building wealth globally, not just locally. So I would like you to please pay attention to everything that will be said in this video so that you can be able to pick up lessons and pick up action points, because implementation is far, far better than just hearing and not uh, attending to it. You know, the scripture also says that it is the doer of the words that is blessed, not just the hearer of the words. So stay blessed as you listen to this part of the video. Thank you.
People who never left their dream, they are living the life of their dreams. First spiritual system of production is the thought realm.
So I'm going to be talking on this next session in this wonderful edition of Wisdom for Wealth. I'm going to be discussing this subject, building your wealth circle. Building your wealth circle. Building your wealth circle. In your wealth circle, so I want somebody to draw a circle. Draw a very big circle. Many of you did not go to nursery school. Now divide the circle into equal 4 parts. That's crossed. Draw a cross. In one part, write my family. So in your wealth circle, the first part of your wealth circle is your family. And that's very important. Very important. It has been said that there are only 3 ways to join the super rich. And the first way they said is you have to be born into it. The second one is that you have to be married into it. The third one is that you have to probably be in one of the top, you have to graduate from the top universities in the world. And sometimes if we are doing the analysis, you and I may not qualify. If you are married, you don't have an option any longer. If you are already born, you cannot be born again. You can be born again in spiritual realm, but you cannot be born again physically. And for those of you who believe in reincarnation, no problem. Let's see whether you will come back to this earth. And if you're already a graduate and you did not graduate from Yale, Harvard, Oxford, Cambridge, then it means you don't have a chance of becoming wealthy. But follow me. So your family is your first section of the wealth circle. The family you are born into will largely determine whether you become wealthy or not, if some factors remain the same. If those factors change, which you have the ability to change, then you may tweak the situation. So you are stuck with your family That means you are born into that family. Your father is your father. Your mother is your mother. Even if your father and your mother decide to divorce, you cannot divorce your father. You cannot divorce your mother. As in, it's so stamped on you, you look like them. In your family, you either look like your mother or your father, or you look like both of them together. And in fact, if you look like both of them together, you are much more, you are carrying their DNA like never before. And when we are doing that, somehow we find ourselves behaving like our parents. Somehow, if you have an elder brother or elder sister, you find yourself trying to behave like that your elder brother or your elder sister. That is the reason why the first set of things you will learn about money, you learn from your parents or you learn from your circle of family or your family circle. The thing about family is that you are stuck with them. You can't change your mother. I can't come back and say now, I'm changing my mother. No matter how you change it, blood is thicker than water. You can't change it. You are stuck with them. Your family selected you. You didn't select them. Your family did what? Selected you. Your mother and your father decided that they have to play 10-10. After they finished playing 10-10, you were born. Am I right? Eh? Was it 10-10 they played? I was looking for your reaction. When I didn't see reaction, I felt you agreed with me. So if you agreed with me, please, go and stop people who are playing 10-10. Because they might likely get pregnant after playing. But that's not the 10-10 they played. So you are stuck with your family. They selected you, you didn't select them. Your father and your mother was the reason why you came to this earth. But you see, it doesn't matter the kind of family you come from. If you can twist the status, if you can challenge the status quo, things can change. Let's go to the next one. The next circle of wealth, the next part of the circle of wealth are your friends. Your friends, they make up a large percentage of what you now do, what you now know, and how you are now represented financially. That's why they say, show me your friends and I will show you who you are. If your friends are wealthy, it's only a matter of time. If you follow them very well, you become wealthy. They said that if you are among 5 wealthy friends, after some time, you will become the 6th one. And if you are a very wealthy person, you find yourself every time among 5 poor people, after some time, you become the 6th one. So if I were you, I'll be very conscious about my friends. The good thing about your friends is that you selected them yourself. Nobody forces you to be your friend. Hello? Did anybody force you to be somebody's friend? Say, from today you must be my friend. You are my friend. Say, I am your friend. I am your friend. You're my friend. You're my friend. You're my friend. You're my friend. You must be my friend. Nobody forces you to be friends with you. You are the one that opens yourself to everyone who has ever entered your friendship circle. So I think that it is wisdom that if you have the ability to select your friends, then you select the right ones. But many of us are maybe not as conscious as we ought to be about this. So, or some of us, where we were born, we don't even have valuable friends around where we were born. Then I think that if you don't have valuable friends around you, you need to change your environment. I grew up around Ikotun, Idimu, Aziz. I was about 13 years of age when I came to Lagos. And all my life, I was there. My wife also grew up in the same environment. And so we got married. When we were going to build our first house, my wife told me, I don't want a Ikotu. I wanted to buy one land in Ikotu, very cheap. I wanted to buy the land. My wife said, never. See, that was where I went to primary school, secondary school, even I went to learn fashion trading. That was where everything Ikotu. Even when I got married, Ikotu. See, you still want to leave me in Ikotu? I say, you have a point there. So we tried to shift a little bit from Ikotu, but we could not escape from Idimu. So after some time, I told her, I said, come, I now want to do Ikotu, nor Lagos, nor Nigeria. I want you guys to go. Just go and stay in a very good environment where my children can make good friends. Where you two can have nice environment. You can think well. If you live in Ikotu, you live in Idimu, please, once every week, try and leave and go to the island. Try and make friends who live on the island. I'm not joking, deliberately. It's not everybody who live on the island that is rich. Some of them are not that rich. But where they are, they think better. Their mind work better. Are you getting what I'm saying? For them to be able to pay house rent of millions. At a particular time, I wanted to rent a particular apartment for some of our staffs who work in our island office. And rent alone is 3-point-something million per annum. And you have to pay 2 years. That's how much? 7 million. You now pay caution fee, pay everything. By the time you have finished, 10 million. Just to live on the island. That can build house in Ikotu. And even furnish it. But the kind of people you meet in Ikotu and the kind of people you meet on the island, they are two different people. In fact, the gap is too wide. The gap is too wide. So, you are not stuck with your friends. You may be stuck with your family, but you are not stuck with your friend. Your family may have selected you. You have to select your friends. Somebody say select. Select and do what? 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 For those of you who are responding, you have lived in Lagos long enough. And you didn't live in the right part of Lagos. You lived in some very dangerous part of Lagos. Your friends are not stuck with you. You can change your friends. You can change your friends. We have talked about the formula to change your friends. One of it is to develop yourself, expand yourself, add more value to yourself. The more you do that, the more you escape from the circle of friends who are not valuable. You are not stuck with your friend. So your friend make up 25% of your wealth circle. Your family make up 25% of your wealth circle. The next one are your fans. Your fans. Your fans. There are people who you know them by casual knowing. Some people you call acquaintances. People you just know. Not necessarily that you have a very strong relationship with them. You just know them. Those are your fans. They like you. They like what you do. There are some of you here that really, if you want to look at the real definition of friendship, I can't say we are friends, really. I'm being very straightforward. I can't say we are friends. I will say you are my fans. Why? Because the real definition of friendship is that, iron has to sharpen iron. You understand what I'm talking about? I'm not saying you are not my friends, or you are all my friends. But that friends, the friendship we're talking about, falls under these fans. It's some people who now go a step further to come closer that now forms the friendship. So, while you are stuck with your family selected you, you are not stuck with your friends, you have to select your friends. But for your fans, they follow you. What do they say on social media? I have how many followers. I have 150. I have 1 million. They are following you. In fact, I came up with another theory that they are not just following you, they are monitoring you. They are like monitoring spirits. The day you will know that they were not following you, they were monitoring you, try and make a mistake. Then you will know that they were not really following you. They were monitoring you to know when you will fall so that they can help you broadcast it. No, go and check out most of the people who have either fallen or made a mistake. Many a times, it's their followers that deal with them the most. But really, if you live in Lagos or you live in any part of the world, you should have fans. The more fans you have, the likely the ability to convert your fans to resources. Let me give you an instance. I'm releasing 2 books this year. How many of you will buy my books? Almost everybody here will buy my books. Why? Look at how many books I've sold today if I'm to sell book. I will sell a lot of books. I will make money. Why? Your fans are very valuable. You can make money with your fans. So if I were you, build enough fan base. And one of the ways to build fan base is to get people to follow you. The way to get people to follow you is to become somebody that is resourceful. Somebody who has something to offer. And people will follow you, even in their millions. There's one guy now, Williams. I don't know whether you know Williams. He acts, he's one of the Nollywood actors, also a comedian and all that. The guy has millions of followers. Why? He's always putting smiles on people's face. It's either he's making comedy or he's doing charity, giving out, giving a lot of things. And I love the guy. I follow the guy. I'm one of his fans. I think he would love to be my friend too, if we get to meet. So your fans follow you. But welcome to the major part of what I'm talking about today. I talked about this a little in the World Summit, but I felt I needed to dissect it well here. The next one is your fathers. Your fathers. Your real dad. Who's your daddy? Who's your daddy? Who is your daddy is what will determine how far you go in life. Don't say I said it. Listen to it. Write it down. You know, after the World Summit, I came back, and some people will say, what is Godfather? What is Godfather? God is our father. Oh, how many times have you seen God appear physically to help somebody? God will always use somebody. Always will use somebody. Always will use somebody. How many of you have seen God before? Physically. The way you saw your physical father. Let me tell you something. The fatherhood position in any person's life is so important. Because fathers helps you to develop feathers so that you can fly. Fathers are the feathers. They help us to develop feathers so that we can fly. The higher you want to fly, the more you need a solid father. Some of us grew up not having a strong father figure. Your father was never at home. Or maybe your father was not that kind of inspiration that you want to be. Or maybe you didn't even know your father because your father was dead before you were born or something. Or while you were young. So you didn't have a father figure. Welcome to the fatherhood nature of building wealth. You need a father. And I call it Godfather. You need somebody that can carry you. I'm teaching you something now. It may take you 5 years to discover who that Godfather is. Find it. Somebody who will be very interested in you, who is a powerful person, but is very interested in you. There are many people I have met in the course of my doing business that I would not have met ordinarily. Somebody took me there. I won't mention the name of this person, but this person is one of the powerful people in Lagos. In fact, if you get to Ikoyi, he is the owner of he built almost like 80% of some of those big developments you see there. Very wealthy man. So one day, my wife and I were celebrating our, I think it was 55th anniversary. And we went to Radisson Blue to just take to just take lunch. We're doing lunch dinner. Lunch buffet. And while we sat down, I have read about the man. I have seen him on TV. And I was just there. And I just started somebody coming. I said, this is the man. This is the man. I said, this is the man. So I did as if I was going to take something while he was there. I said, good afternoon, sir. He said, good afternoon, my son. How are you doing? I said, sir, fine, sir. I said, you are so and so. He said, yes. I said, I've read a lot about you. He said, wow, what have you read about me? He said, come and tell me. I went there. His wife was there. And he said, tell me what you have read about me. I said, I've read about your exploit in business, your exploit in real estate. I was just talking. He said, wow. He said, this is my number. Call me. I want you to come to my house. Just like that. He said, I have adopted you as my adopted son. I said, who Shabbat? So, I told my business partner, Mr. Lawrence, I said, we are going to this man's house. When I went on YouTube to Google the man's house, I became afraid. But we have to go anyway. And that was how we landed in this man's house. I called him. He has security people, allowed them in. The first thing we met was that our car entered a particular place, more like the gatehouse. But the gatehouse has a glass like this, a gate like this. So we just had something like, They were screening our car to be sure you are not carrying bomb. Yeah. We entered the compound and I saw cars lined up inside AC. They received AC. Car was receiving AC. Cars are packed inside AC. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, not 10. I entered the house and my spirit left me. My spirit started going through all the house to be looking at the house. I was there looking at my spirit. Spirit, come back. The spirit said, no, impossible. Only you will go home. I will remain here. Sitting room 1, sitting room 2, sitting room 3, sitting room 4, sitting room 5. I don't even know. I couldn't count. Dining table is 3 times bigger than this hall. I was sat on the dining table. Here comes this humble man and sat with us. How is business? How are you doing? Don't worry. I will be a part of your life. I will help you. This and that. You can't understand what that experience did to me. You can't understand. You can't understand. Change my perspective. Make me understand that you can make it. Who in your life can carry you and expose you to wealth? There are a few people that work with me, and they are sure they will end up millionaires. That one is sure. I'm committed to doing it for them. As in, it's sure. It's sure. What I have received from my fathers, I'm ready to give my children. My son was born not a millionaire, but now he's a millionaire. As in my own son. My daughter was born a millionaire, as in before she was born, she was already a millionaire. Why? Her father is a millionaire. Who's your daddy? Who is your father? Have you identified a father? Are you working with any father? You may say a lot of things about these people who are more like godfathers, but let me tell you something. The godfatherism thing started from Catholic Church. When you are born, you have your own father, biological father, but they will hand you over to a godfather who will take care of you, who will more like advise you, take you around and teach you some things that your father may not be able to teach you. Is that not so? Or is that not the way it is? That's the way it is. There's a godfather. There is no place in the world where we don't have godfatherism. No place. There are kings and there are kingmakers. There are people who appoint kings. There is no place. So, even in a very structured environment, it still exists. So when you live here, I want you to go in search for a father. Your father could not give it to you. Look for someone that can give it to you. And I can tell you there are people who are willing to carry you. I'm carrying some people now, and they know their destination is sure. Why your fans follows you, you have to follow your father. Know what they call follow, follow? Follow, follow. You have to follow your father. Follow them with passion. Follow them with vigor. Follow them anywhere they go. Follow them. Because for you to get their interest, it is by following them. There is one father that can appear in your life, and it will change the entire course of your life. I remember many years ago, when I was just coming up, my father, Olumide Emmanuel, were three of us. He picked us and said, you guys can achieve it. And he told us something one day. He said, where I failed, you guys will not fail. Hi! Opened his heart, poured out himself, replicated himself in us, did a new version of himself in us. No wonder today we are doing what we are doing. No wonder today we are getting the kind of results we are getting. Why? A father took us and took us to where we wanted to become, where we wanted to be. A father. You are suffering and confused because there's no father. Nobody to tell you, stop it. I remember many years ago, we were doing a particular business. That business looked good to us. But when our father heard, he called me, Wisdom. Mbo, they say you are doing dubious business. I said, no, sir. He said, shut up your mouth. Close down that business now. I said, yes, sir. And I got to the office, I shared with my partner. I said, this is what our father said. He said, close the business down. And he said, business closed. And we closed it down. Fast forward many years later. If we had not closed that business, by now we would have been like this. Chains on our hands. You need someone to guide you. You need someone to instruct you. Ladies, never marry a guy who tells you, I don't fear anybody. He doesn't fear anybody. It means that if he does anything bad to you, you don't have anybody you can threaten him with. So I will report to your father. You don't have anybody. You want to marry a guy, you say, I don't fear any man. I respect you, but I don't fear any man. Me, I fear my father, so. If I see their call, I pick it and I say everywhere silent. My father is calling. I don't fear any man. Promotion comes from abroad, from above. It's not from abroad. Okay, it doesn't come from above, Abi. How many have you gotten? Abi? So it's not a man. It's not man that I'm looking for. He that has God has everything. When you have God and you don't have man, you don't have God. Even God looks for man. He wants to do anything, he looks for a man. And you want to do something, you say you don't want man. It's God you want. Okay, you have been looking for God all this while. Where is God? So I don't want man. Because what is Godfather is? I can succeed without any Godfather. It's a lie. Ask anybody who has succeeded. There is a father somewhere that helped them to succeed. Go and check. Even your academics. Some of you did well in your academics because one father called you and said, come, this is not the way they do something. I remember one of my friends was sharing with me. He said he knew when he entered university, but he didn't know how he graduated. I just knew that I entered university, and after 4 or 5 years, I graduated. He said, but something happened. One of my uncle, who happened to be more like the father figure in my life, called me one day and said, what are you doing at home? I said, I've done JAM. They refused to give. He said, what are you talking about? He said, enter school. He said, I don't know how much to pay. He said, don't worry, I'll pay for you. But I'll pay for the first one. After the first one, I don't know how you are going to solve it. But one thing I know is that when you start school, you will finish. How you finish, I don't know. I have one of my daughters here that we are trying to help her, support her in school. And I told her, I said, go and start. Oh. Don't worry, one way or the other, you will graduate. 4 years later, you are a graduate. Because some people will stand by you. You don't know what you are missing because you don't have a father. People who don't have fathers, what do they call them? Fatherless, Abi? Or you are the one that said it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I didn't say it. I don't want to be a bastard. I want to have a father. I didn't have the biological father figure in my life. I didn't have. Never had. Never had. Our father died very young. I stayed with my elder sister. Our husband was never at home. After some time, he was not even around at all again. It was just like that. No father figure whatsoever. But thank God I met someone like Dr. Olumide Emmanuel. Held me and said, you can make it. Today, there is nothing I can do for him. Nothing. Networking and the finding of fathers is one of the shortest cuts to wealth. What you know is important. Who you know is important. What you know is important, and who you know is also important. And sometimes it might even be more important. So what you know, who you know, and who knows you is very important. You must be deliberate about picking your fathers. Fathers are not just people you respect from afar. Fathers are physical. So what I'm talking about now is a physical father. I'm not talking about social media father. Where he says, my mentor. Where's your mentor? He lives in America. And you and him, you have never talked to you all through your life. He's not your father. I'm talking about physical representation of a father. Somebody who can look into your eyes and tell you the truth. Who can talk you out of that habit that you have. Last year, there was some mistake I made. And my father called me and said, Wisdom, watch it. Don't do this kind of mistake again. That's not the way things happen. And fast forward many months later, I now saw how foolish I was doing those things I was doing. Not that I'm doing something bad. I was to do something that was not, I didn't prioritize it well. And I took a journey based on the instruction of my father. And it was the smoothest journey ever. You have to be sensitive to observe the fathers that are around you. You have to be deliberate in selecting the father. You have to be willing to go the extra mile to ensure that you have a father figure in your life. So you have your family, your friends, your fans, and your fathers. And I call them Godfather. God appointed them to be your father. How do you get these fathers? Number one is by honor. It's by honor. It's by honor. is by honor. The more you honor them, the more their heart is open concerning you. It's by honor. You identify that person you want to be your father. Start and deliberately honor them. Sometimes people misunderstand this and they say, maybe we're trying to elevate man above God. Never. I'm saying God is even going to use that father to straighten your life. That's why we call them God Father. So God is in the equation. So deliberately honor them. I hope you know that Esa is not honor. That's not the honor we're talking about. Because you can do Esa, and when the person goes, we're talking about genuinely honoring them. Genuinely speaking things about them, positive things about them. When you meet people talking something wrong about them, you counter it. Whether in their presence or behind them, you are honoring them. Honor is not just what you do physically. Honor is an attitude you carry. Honor is also a seed. When you sow honor, you will reap honor. You want to become wealthy? Look for someone to honor. Number 2, you respect them. Revere them. I scolded one of my very close son for some disrespectful things he was doing. And I know he has taken notes. Respect them. Find out what is their definition of respect and give it to them. Why will you be arguing with him? Why will you be arguing with him? And you're saying, what? You're arguing with your father. Argue with your father. That's a sign of disrespect. He's talk one, you talk two. And he says your father. Respect them. I wrote here that you cannot become or attract who you dishonor. You cannot become or attract who you dishonor. If you respect people, it has a way of coming back to you. When you respect people, it has a way of coming back to you. Respect, they say, is reciprocal. When you give it, you will get it back. Be loyal to them. Be loyal to them. Be loyal to them. Loyalty goes beyond respect, goes beyond honor. It means that in the toughest of the situation, you are still loyal. Even when they say the person is doing something wrong, until proven, you can't join the bandwagon. Even when you know, and you can see that this person, it wasn't as if he was doing something wrong, it was a mistake. You are loyal. There was one man recently, or not recently, some time ago, that was said to, he was beating his congregation. And they arrested him, put him in prison. I know that one is blind loyalty. When you see something wrong and you're being loyal to something wrong. But loyalty is a constant factor when it comes to fathers. His members were rioting for the man who was flogging them. These are slaves who love their chains. But loyalty is very important. But just like one of my comedian friends will say, the oga patapata of them all. How many of you know that comedian? The oga patapata of them all is service. Service. Service is one of the ways to get the heart of the fathers towards you. Service. 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 And there are two kinds of service. There is the faithful service and there is the eye service. Both are right. You must do the both. Somebody say, this wisdom boy, always coming up with controversial things. He's not telling us that eye service is good. Yes, eye service is good. Positive eye service. That's what I call it. That's my own definition. You can go and define your own. Positive eye service is very important. So the first service is the service where you are doing something faithfully. Yeah. You are doing something faithfully. When your father sees you doing things faithfully, he rejoices because you are doing something faithfully. But the next one is eye service. It means while you are serving, you are watching. That's the eye service I'm talking about. You are watching to see when your boss or your father will be around. And immediately he's around, you let him know, I have been doing this. It is the person we see regularly that one day, one way or the other sticks to our mind. You see him coming. The negative eye service is when you are not doing anything. And immediately you see the person coming, you now pretend as if you are doing it. That's negative eye service. And when the person leaves, you stop doing it. But positive eye service is that you are doing something. Maybe you are cleaning this place. You are just cleaning it small. You now see your father coming. You say, Daddy, God bless you. God bless you. Daddy, I've been here for some time now. Thank you, sir, for being a blessing to us. God bless you. What are you trying to do? You are trying to get the father to see that you are doing something. And the father will say, that's my son. That's my son. That's my son. And they can open their heart to you. Why do you need fathers? You need them because fathers are people who represent your future. Fathers are people who have attained what you are looking forward to attaining in a large dimension. Fathers are people who have gone ahead. And somebody once said that if I have seen any father, it is because I rode on the shoulders of them who have gone ahead of me. That's why you need fathers. Fathers are defenders. When something goes wrong, they can defend you. Even when you are wrong, they can say, yes, it's wrong, but this cannot happen to him. Some of us have suffered because we don't have fathers. I remember those days in school when they would say, bring your father. Some people would go and rent fathers. And even mothers. Because in those days, if you bring father that is not fine, your own has finished. We used to do yeah. But some people came with their father. One day, a young boy and his father went for their end of the year party. And while they were they went for graduation party. Best student in mathematics, Joseph Lincoln. The guy will come, receive his award and go and sit down. The father said, those are children. Best student in English, Jesse Duplantis. Carry. So those are children. Best this. Those are children. So why? Everything happened. They were going home. Jesse entered his father's limousine. The other one entered father's Mercedes Benz. This other one entered father's Land Rover, Range Rover. And they were going. And this particular guy, the father was carrying the bicycle. And they were rolling. One vehicle just passed. Vim! And the guy said, Daddy, those are fathers. And now, boss, Vim! Say, Dad, these are real fathers. I know our African father, he will say, shut up your mouth! I am your father. Please, some of you have fathers, but you need to have another father. If your father cannot represent that, please have another father. I'm not saying don't honor your own father. Please, don't get me wrong. Honor your father, respect them. The same thing you want to do to the other father, you start with your father. Okay? But you are not doing it because you need him to do any of such to you. You are doing it because that's your biological responsibility. But what you are doing is that you are going to get another father who will represent your future. And the way to get them is by service. Serve faithfully. Serve faithfully. They are doing wedding. Show up. Their wife is doing birthday. Show up. Do the eye service. And show up and make sure they see you. And don't go without a gift. Don't give money or don't go and spray money. Use the money to buy a gift. A gift that they will keep in. I'm very strategic when I'm buying gifts for my fathers. I buy things that they will use for a long time. Your father needs an iPad. You have discovered. Go and buy it. Every time you open that iPad, your name comes up. Abi? Yes. Your father needs a shoe. You have seen that his shoe is doing somehow. Not that he doesn't have money to buy it. You get a shoe for him. I bought one shoe for one of my fathers. And the day he wore it, I was just dancing. I said, thank God he wore it. You know, there are some things you buy for some people, you wonder, would they wear it? It was an expensive shoe, but I was still wondering whether you wear it. And he wore it one day. I said, oh, glory be to God. Be strategic. Be strategic. So in rounding up, your family selected you. You selected your friends. Your fans are following you. You have to follow your fathers. Follow them till your life changes. There was one man who was saying one time, so I don't care about all these father things, all this father thing. I don't care. I don't care. And the other guy told him, he said, well, you have not been following all the fathers, and yet, look at the way your life is. We that have been following the fathers, and we are almost like we are slaves to the fathers, our life is far better than yours. Who is wise and who is foolish? Pride will not let some people have fathers. So who is he to talk to me like that? When your father scolds you, it doesn't stop being your father. Even when he offends you, it doesn't stop being your father. Do you know how many times my father has offended me? I'm not talking about my earthly father. Said things that I felt, he should not have said that to me. But I will swallow it and keep following. I am the one that is looking for something. Until I find what I'm looking for, I am not going to rest. It is wisdom to do that. It is better when you have found what you are looking for, you now say, okay, But even this father thing, even when you have found what you are looking for, the river that forgets its source, it's only a matter of time. It will dry up. Your fathers are not your friends. They are more than your friends. They may give you a friendly hand. Accept it with caution. With caution. I hope you know that we're not talking about religion. It's not a religious gathering. This is wisdom for wealth. This is one of the ways that people become wealthy. Don't choose a father that has not gone to where you want to be. Or say, the man has wisdom, but he's poor. If he has wisdom, he should have money. I don't know whether you get what I'm saying. The man has wisdom, but he's poor. No, that's not what we're talking about. It's called wisdom for wealth. That means the wisdom we are giving you now is for wealth. Go and look for somebody who is very powerful, very wealthy, very influential. And I don't know. I met one particular man in Abuja. This man is madly influential. The who is who in Aso Rock. The who is who in government. The who is who in the world. And I met him, he brought two of us to his office. He said, now I've adopted you people, two of you, as my sons. How did we get there? Respect, honor. When he saw us, we were willing to assist, we were willing to be part of what he was doing. And he said, these two young guys, I have not seen two guys like this. There's another one we have in Canada. The man came all the way from, when he was introduced to us, we started telling him all the things we were doing. He said, wow, I love you guys. And today, he said he has also adopted us as his sons. His son, his biological son, told me, he said, if my father noticed 25% of the things you guys are doing in me, he'll be very happy. See, because I have all the privilege and I'm trying to work on it. I said, don't worry, together we'll work on it. Since your father has adopted us, and this man is a very wealthy man in Canada. Wealthy! Fathers, you see my confidence. It's not because I'm bold. It's because I have fathers. If time gets tougher, I fall back to them. Sir, things are tough. What can be done? And 1, 2, 3 things they will tell me. I move. And things are resolved. So hereby, I introduce to you the search for fathers. The search for fathers. Thank you very much. I hope this has blessed you. Thank you very much. God bless you.